Hello again, everyone. I know that it's been more than a month since my last post, but I'm working on not giving up on this. I still have a lot of thoughts that I'd like to mark down while I have a chance, and I'm still working out the best way to put these posts out consistently without it taking too much time and for me to still be able to push myself to do it. They may be shorter posts coming up and a little more informal, but I'll still do my best to get my point across as correctly as possible. I know that I have trouble putting all of my thoughts into something during the best of times, and trying to do it in a less structured way is going to be difficult in making sure that I get my point across without forgetting too much. But I'm going to do my best. So, in thinking about making sure that we get things done while we have a chance, today I want to talk about another trite saying. You only live once. You usually hear that when someone is looking for an easy response to justify them doing something either extremely dangerous or very stupid. What they're essentially claiming is that they're justified in the action they're taking because they should be allowed to act however they want, because they only have one chance to do everything they want to in life. They only have one limited life to do it in with a limited amount of time. And they're afraid that if they don't act immediately and leap on the chance, it may be something that they never get the chance to do at all. To me, the whole thing has always sounded pretty stupid when I run it through my head. There's actually a lot of evidence that the saying dates back at least to the Roman Empire, which actually a lot of the sayings that we have nowadays can be traced back there. It's possible they date even further back, but that just may be the most easily recorded period to find them in. But like a lot of the sayings that have persisted over time, its meaning has transformed and morphed. It's essentially a long distance, time-based game of telephone. The older meaning that I wanted to talk about is one that was meant to convey the necessity for forethought and safety. You only live once was meant to be a warning not to act rashly and dangerously because you only have one life available. And wasting it stupidly is one of the greatest failures that a person can make. And in fact, if you like a good laugh, take a few minutes and check out the YOLO video from The Lonely Island. In fact, I recommend that you check out all of their videos if you haven't yet, but specifically check out YOLO. Their take on YOLO is much closer to the original meaning, but with that nice satirical bend that they give to everything. And from their perspective, instead of YOLO meaning you only live once, it's taken to mean you ought to look out. I mean, you've got to be careful about what you do. It puts down both sides of the argument, because whether you preach caution or preach just hedonistic abandonment, going to one extreme or the other is always the wrong thing to do. And it really calls out that thoughtlessness that happens when you shift to one extreme or the other. I think it's a great way of pointing out how ridiculous both of the extremes are. And I think it's because even knowing that heading to one extreme or the other is irrational, there's still a lot more that has to be done to actually get out of that mindset. Or, as G.I. Joe would say, knowing is half the battle. Fighting that urge to polarize your actions either out of fear of missing out on something or fear of losing your life, it's hard. It's difficult when you've built that into your mindset or had that built into your mindset by those around you. And I can tell you from experience in dealing with anxiety and paranoia that it can be a very long process in taking that urge and fighting it and putting it in a corner so that it doesn't impact your decision making to the point that you can't actually live your life. And again, even with that, it's difficult. But finding the balance between those extremes, I really do believe is a necessary step to being able to actually live your life instead of just rushing through it or bottling yourself up in a corner, struggling to survive against everything that your anxiety tells you is coming for you. And you want to focus on doing that not just for yourself, but helping those around you that you see in those situations do the same. Humanity has survived as long as it is and been able to reach the point that it has only because people are able to work together. And you only live once. Both of those extremes, either doing whatever you want or doing nothing because you're afraid, it not only hurts you, it hurts all of those people who may need your help. So do the best thing for yourself. Do the best thing for everybody. Of course, like everything else I say, those are just a few thoughts from an insane bookworm. So take them with a large grain of salt. Be safe, everybody, and be good to each other. Talk to you soon.